Yeah, this was kind of like a marsh start, so I made it a little bit stronger. Um, but then he just moved. I think he spawned right here, and then he moved 2 tiles. So that's a very good land. He had to walk for it, though, so his expansion phase is going to be a little bit delayed. But yeah, that's kind of... That might explain... has something to do with Midas's playstyle. He's more of a builder type player. He's really supportive to his team. And so for that reason, he's going to like good land. Yeah, you'll notice his cultural boundaries expanded after Halu's did. So Halu's a more aggressive player in the early game, but not crazy aggressive or anything. He's more focused on putting pressure early on while he builds himself up to be a really scary player in the late game. So I'm just going to take a look at all the different players, and I'll explain to you their different playstyles and their tiers. So the top players, at least according to our sheet of handicaps, are Halu, El Quixote, and Midas. So Halu's probably the best. I talked a little bit about his his playstyle. Sorry, they noticed how high my score is. And I did talk about Midas's playstyle too. So El Quixote likes to stream in units. He puts a lot of pressure on very consistently just across the game. He's also pretty good at building. He's kind of like maybe a slightly more consistent early pressure version of Halu. Like Halu likes to put pressure in terms of like where he expands to. Like let's say there's, for example, an iron over here between me and Midas, between him and Midas. He might like start roading to that iron and start getting units there for a tactical reason. El Quixote just streams units into your land, which can really be, I mean, sometimes the units just die and he doesn't really get much from it, but sometimes it's really, he reaps a lot of reward in terms of the pressure. I'd say the Arabs lose first. Oh yeah, absolutely. So we got our list of people. Oh, so neither Rion or Midas, or sorry, neither Rion nor Orangine picked meat as part of their fantasy draft. So that's good news for them. So Rion's draft, as a reminder, is Halu, Panopticon, and Blaze Fury. Oh, actually all on the same team. Okay, in hindsight, this map is kind of small, like the land area. When I originally designed, or when I generated it, there wasn't any island or the lakes in the middle. And so getting rid of those lakes takes away from the land area. So it really depends if the players start expanding over here, because there's some good land and some luxuries over here. I remember there being a lot of strategic resources over here, although we can't see it just yet. Great. So between the tier 2 players, Panopticon hasn't played too recently, so I'm not sure if he's going to be as good as Orangine. I haven't been paying enough attention to that conversation to know what's up. Yeah, this is absolutely a great land for a builder. And he's got El Quixote here supporting him, and El Quixote is another strong player. So I think that Halu might be under more pressure. Like, there's always the chance that El Quixote and Orangine will focus on meat over here. And if they do, then Midas might be under more pressure himself. But if they unite against Halu, then Halu should be on the back foot, kind of. But yeah, since he is a builder-type player, I expect him to expand in this direction eventually. So one thing is that the lakes that I added actually make canals viable. So if you placed a city here, for example, you could sail a bunch of ships in and start landing Midas. And since Midas is playing as the Vikings, that could potentially be something that would be very useful for him. For example, I'm imagining that Blaze Fury would want to expand south to these cows. So if Midas could sneak in some berserks, that would be a potential way to get a kill. One thing about how I designed the lakes was that you'll notice that there's no sea tiles, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if there's no sea tiles in a lake, then you can't build boats in it. If there is sea, if there is a sea tile like in the middle of the lake, that means you can build boats even if it doesn't have access to the greater ocean. But in either of those cases, you can plant a city like a canal city and then send boats into the lake. So meat is d5. Yeah, they're starting to see where each other are. I imagine this game is going to be a bit of a clusterfuck in terms of a lot of early combat, I think. Although I don't think there's any player that is, aside from... I think the most likely chance of an early kill would just be El Quixote getting a solo kill against meat. But the thing about El Quixote is he's playing as the Spanish, which are generally considered, I mean, the worst civ in the roster of QC. But also, like, the reason that they are basically allowed in the game, and we don't just remove them, is because their unique unit is so powerful. So until he gets access to that unique unit, he will have a weak civ, and especially a weak early game civ. Like, Seafaring provides some utility, but really the early game traits are agricultural, militaristic, and industrious. And you need one of those three to be like, have a decent early game. Sometimes expansionist can be useful, but it's a bit of a crapshoot. Yeah, we can change it so we can see the iron if you want. So the reason behind that is that like the speed at which you tech depends on how many people have researched that tech before you. So if I start researching all the techs, then I'll make it cheaper for everybody else, and I'm trying not to have an impact on the game. So I'm trying to wait until they all have iron working before I research iron working. I could do bronze working right now. It seems that they're progressing through the tech tree, so... So at this point I need to embassy them. Oh, interesting. I've already met the Mongols, apparently. I wonder why that is. Maybe he tried to interact with one of the outposts or something? Do you have the map in the background? No? Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. I can access that if you want. So this is map 4, I believe. Yeah, here it is. So like I said, there's an iron on this island. Yeah, and it's really a reach if meat wants to get one of these 2 irons. But everybody else has it decently close, if not like right in their capital. It actually might be a little difficult for Halu too. Oh, he's got some up north. Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue. But I wouldn't be surprised if El Quixote like sees the iron and then starts putting a warrior there. And with horses, I believe... Oh, interestingly enough, the top left civ, I think it's Panopticon, might have a little difficulty accessing horses. But, I mean, all of these civs, like, all of this land is, like, safe for that team, so they can just road to each other and start passing resources. And yeah, Midas and El Quixote should not have an issue with it. So let's see if yeah, no, I only have contact with the Mongols. My choice is iron, it seems. Oh, who did you choose, Draco? I didn't actually take down who your roster was. True. Okay. So if you want, we can give you something... So the first one on my list with Orangine in it was El Quixote, Orangine, and meat. Can I put you down for that? So the prize we did last time was the winner got to pick my next video for YouTube. So if that's like a prize that interested you, you might as well just join just in case you win. The other thing I could offer would be like not lessons, but like I'd review your save file and like give you tips for improvement. Okay, I'll put you down for Team number 5. Oh yeah, it still isn't noon yet. People are gonna show up to like my stream at 12 and wonder what the hell is going on. That everything's already started and all. Although I did miss the past 2 weeks, so I'm wondering if that might impact my viewership. But I should be able to stream for the next little while consistently. So what I've been doing is the visa process I'm trying to teach English in China. So I had to stay in Ottawa. So right now I'm living in Perth, which is a small town outside of Ottawa, but I had to stay with my brothers in Ottawa to be able to do all that visa stuff. Oh, true. I'll just grab the wheel and then turn it off. Anyway, now that I'm back in Perth, I should be able to stream more consistently. The issue is I just didn't bring my mic and my setup to Ottawa. And I didn't trust that my internet would be good enough either. Okay, so we're starting to see some second cities come out. Yeah. You can kind of observe and see which players play in the hyper expansion playstyle that I do. So Panopticon, Orangine, and Halu. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the cool things about this, that like before this, like the prospect of designing a map for Civ 3 multiplayer, like it made sense in theory, but it's like, what's the reward? Because obviously you can't play in a map that you design, right? Yeah. Oh wow, this is an aggressive plant. That should have probably been on the hill for the defense bonus. We'll see if El Coyote is gonna respond to that. He's responding all right. Okay. I think Meat's got it under control though. So all the tile yields are buffed up in QC, so it's more viable to settle closer together. Also, just generally, planting cities closer together, even in vanilla Civ 3, is very good in the early game, because there's less distance corruption, and because your cities come out faster, and for a few other reasons. Also, just in multiplayer, the cities are very easy to protect when they're close together. Like, you'll notice he has to, like, guard twice as much road. Otherwise, El Coyote can, like, sneak around and pillage the roads. So by planting closer together, he would have less tiles to protect. I don't think Spain has warrior code yet, and they didn't actually expand towards the Arabs, so I think the Arabs are fine. Okay. So that kind of build pattern will pay off in the very, very, very long run. But multiplayer is all about the short run, because like they say in economics, in the long run, we're all dead. QC games only last about, on average, not more than 50 or 60 turns. I put an outpost in the middle of the ocean here. I don't know if this is going to come into play, but I just felt like saying that. Do we have any third cities out yet? Not quite. Okay, we can see where all the resources now because we have the right text. So I think, yeah, we're not going to get any more contacts. So that I can... Great. Blaze Theory is like a tier 3 player. So that's the reason he's expanding kind of slowly. But one thing he likes to do, based on my previous Observer Modes game with him, he likes to get out a granary and then a barracks before he gets out his next city. So those are two useful buildings. Normally it's more important to get the city out first. but he likes to do it in that order. So despite having only one city, he does have some other stuff going on for him. He also does 2 workers, and so he's got a lot of tiles worked. He just has, like, his growth will be a little slow because he opted for the barracks and granary opening. But I think in the long run he'll be in a good position because he's fairly safe here. He can expand in whatever direction. Halu is an ally, Panopticon's an ally. The only person you'd have to worry about is Midas and maybe his Berserks, but Berserks won't even be an issue until Invention. And of course there's a lot of jungle and marsh in between him and Midas, so I don't think it'll be an issue. Yeah, I think that's the most likely situation, that Midas will focus on Halu. So you'll see here that Halu has gained control of his iron. His other iron was up here, but I think this one's the more key, because it's kind of at like a junction. If Halu had let El Quixote gain control of this junction, that would be very bad for Halu. Halu's just, like, his expansion is a little limited too. Like, the land over here is very good, so he wants to gain control over it. This land's kind of bad. This is kind of mediocre. This is jungle and towards his enemy. And this is, like, the only patch of other good land, so I'd say it's good. So we'll do... Sorry, Midas. Sorry. Arabs. Come on, everybody's busy. Would you put the city... Oh, right on... So that's a good question. So putting the city on the hill gives you a defense bonus, 50%, plus the fortification, and any walls or whatever other bonuses you have in the city. So based on that, it depends really how much pressure he's under. If Orangine kind of pivots here, and then there's a lot of focus in this direction on Halu, then he's going to want the city on the iron. Otherwise, he'd want the city here for the choke point, and then here for another narrow choke. And to finish off this choke, he could do like some fortresses. So that would work okay. It really depends how much pressure he's going to be under, though. Because, like, if he does that, he'd have to hold 4 tiles, whereas if he just puts the city on the iron, he'd be pretty safe just holding the city tile itself. And he's going to get a lot of pressure from this direction from Midas, so... Okay, let's see if I can get some contacts. Great, Spain. Yeah, Orangine builds pretty fast, so he's a good person to have on your team. Panopticon seems to be busy. I'll get Blaze Fury. Sit on your iron. Where's the iron? I mean, this iron seems to be not under contention. This one might come into play later, but I think if Halu has this one under control, then that's all the iron they need. And it's also far away from anything else. So yeah, the game is accelerated, so it is just straight up possible to expand much faster than you would. Oh, interesting. Okay, so Panopticon's going to try something here. I think he might be trying to get onto the mountain, or... Okay, Orangine dealt with it. Yeah, he's got a veteran spearman out. So he's working this land quite well, actually. And I think he has the dies under control. Oh no, the city isn't actually on any dies, so he doesn't have the luxury resource just yet. Okay. So this is very interesting. This is an aggressive plant from Scandinavia. So there's some upsides and some downsides to this. I think overall this is an upside play, although ideally... No, I think this is well played from him. He obviously had more information than we do because we haven't been paying perfect attention. So what I would probably do in that situation would be put some units on this hill tile right here, place my first city on this hill, and then my second city on this hill, which would be 2 tiles away from Halu's city, which is obviously even more aggressive than what Midas just did, 2 tiles away from the capital. So what happened was Halu actually had control over this hill tile, and so Midas could not plant on that hill tile 2 tiles away from Halu's capital. So, based on that information, I'd argue that it was a good idea for Midas to plant here. So he's not on the hill, so he does not get the defense bonus. But had Midas planted on this hill instead, then Halu could in turn plant on this hill, and then Halu would get the defense bonus. So because Midas is the aggressor, it's better that neither player gets the defense bonus than that both players get defense bonuses. He also gets this cow, so I really like it. Yeah, Midas is not kidding around here. Like, sometimes people will be kind of exaggerating in games, like, I'm under so much pressure right now, and there's just, like, one warrior in their land, but, yeah, Midas is going straight for a war here. And let's see. Ooh, Draco. Midas is not actually the... You have El Quixote, Orin, and Meat. Let's see what El Quixote is up to. So, one of these players is going to want a city on one of these hills. So normally, like, I do place a lot of emphasis on having important defensive hill cities between, like, at the front line between you and your enemy. Normally it's not as important as this. The reason it's so crazy important in this game is because everybody is spawned pretty close together. There's just not as much land because I turned a lot of land into lakes, and because of the spawn locations. So if it was like these 3 were on a team versus these 4, then that wouldn't be as nearly as like a conflict-causing map than having this situation right here with bam, bam, bam on the same team. There's a lot of different fronts because players here have spawned more close to their enemies than to their allies. So this is going to be a very important... I mean, just Meat isn't a crazy important player, so it won't be too consequential if he dies. Like, even if Meat dies right away, it'll still be only a 3v3. So that's definitely something his team could come back from. You'll notice he's actually lost a worker here to the pressure from El Quixote. I'm not sure if I agree with this play from El Quixote. I think their team could benefit more from pressure on Halu, though, since Midas seems to be putting a lot of pressure right now. I think El Quixote, he could put a city right here and take the iron if he went fast enough. Yeah, I think he's going to live for a little while, because... Oh, it looks like there's going to be an important front here between Panopticon and Orangine. So yeah, it looks like basically these 2 players against each other, these 2 players against each other, and these players against each other, and then Blaze Fury will build and hopefully get pretty big. Okay, so this I definitely don't agree with. Blaze Fury actually went for an early temple in his capital, which it is cheap because he's a religious civ, but just generally, temples aren't the best. Midas to handle Halu. Halu is such a strong player that he requires 2 people to handle him. I guess maybe he's got kind of bad land here, so Midas might be in a good position to handle him alone, but yeah, I really don't like temples. Just like specifically temples in your capital, because the main purpose of temples, from my point of view, is to expand your borders. So for example, if like he was to build a temple in Medina, he's a religious civ, so the temple would be cheap. And he'd gain a lot of control of the surrounding tiles, and that gives him vision, that prevents enemy units from healing there, it gives him exclusive access to roads in that land. That would be pretty good. Oh, and it'd also allow him to use this ivory tile, like use all the tiles outside. The thing about your capital is your capital already has a palace, so you already get the border expansion really early, so yeah. Okay, it looks like they're starting to close out the ancient era in terms of tech. Huh. Oh, so Orangine is actually the first player to 4 cities, despite his difficulties with land. I think that makes sense because he's kind of alone here. I'd expect Panopticon not to be too far behind, though. Oh yeah, Panopticon's got 2 settlers coming, so... Great. So now that we have some free time, the one civ, I don't know who we haven't met. We'll deal with it later, though. So we're going to build some embassies and check out what they're building. Okay, barracks and granary. Standard. I like it. Japan, there's that temple I was talking about. So the downside to having the temple is he doesn't have more cities, and more cities would be very useful at the time. Or at this point in time. Scandinavia. Okay. Oh, just a barracks. He actually didn't go for a granary. So he actually does have the capacity to grow 1 per turn here because of the floodplains without needing a granary. But he needs to keep his city at 2 population at all times, otherwise he loses that benefit. Because you need 10 surplus food to grow 1 per turn without a granary in QC. And with a granary you only need 5. So you can get that, but you need to be working both the floodplains and the floodplains and the irrigated bonus grassland. So let's check out some other players. Alquiote. Oh, this is interesting. He actually, yeah, I think this actually makes sense. This is kind of what he does. He hasn't gone for barracks yet. So the troops he's been sending at meat have just been regulars. So this is one of the ways that he allows himself to put on that consistent pressure, and that's by skipping the barracks. That lets him get the units out earlier. And often early can be better than more powerful units. Okay, so it looks like Halu tried an attack against Midas and then failed, based on what Midas said, and based on the fact that Halu has damaged units over here. So let's check out what's in Copenhagen at the moment. Is the city in danger? Oh, this city is not in danger at all. So defensive bombard is very strong in multiplayer Civ 3, like due to a bug. And so for that reason, like these archers will just shred through whatever attacking units. And I'd even go as far to say that like Halu's team is in a very bad spot if he carries on with his attack. Because he still has some pressure based on the control he has of this hill, as long as he doesn't attack. If he attacks, he's going to lose all his units. Halu also has catapults here, you'll notice, and what the catapults mean is that he can knock out any walls that Midas builds in Copenhagen. Great, let's finish our embassies. Oh nice, we have contact with the last player. Great, standard, granary barracks. Let's check out Mecca. Okay. Well, he could definitely micro these tiles a bit better. He should be using that ivory on the forest, because ivory gives +2 food in QC, which is really good. So Mead's land is actually better than it seems. It seems like a boring plain start, but he's got some luxuries. As long as he seems to have, like, defended okay against Alquiote. Yeah, he's got some archers out. He's still dealing with his warrior right here. And so because of that warrior right here, I don't think he's going to be in a position to take control of this hill. Oh, interesting. Oh no, I thought that was a settler under a warrior, but no. Yeah, you'll see what I mean by the stream from Alquiote. He doesn't send big stacks the way like Halu or Midas would. Instead, he just keeps on streaming in small quantities of units. And I mean, it's the worst because once you think you finally mopped up most of what he sent, he just sends even more. And so you never really get a chance to breathe. Turn on some music. Great, and we can start teching slowly. I know some people like the music from the next era, so hopefully I can give that to you guys. Yeah, I noticed that. We'll take a look at that. Ah, okay, this is a good plant. It's on the hill, you'll notice. So from this point of view, Panopticon is going to be able to apply a lot of pressure onto Orangine. So there's actually going to be a really interesting interaction, because Panopticon and Orangine are about the same caliber of skill. I had them both as upper tier 2 players. And they both have late game civs. Like neither of those civs can get an early golden age based on their unique unit. Oh, sorry, for people who don't know, in QC, all the unique units are in the medieval era. So the unique unit for the Iroquois is just the mounted warrior, but it's available at astronomy instead of at horseback riding. And then for the Ottomans, it's just the regular Simpi is the unique unit. So both of those would ensure late golden ages, so that's parity. And they seem to be in a position where they can focus on each other rather on anybody else. I think with this pressure coming from Uskador, and the fact that there's a lot of rough terrain blocking him from expanding towards Halu, it's mostly going to be a 1v1 here, and he's not going to really be able to have much of an effect on the Arabs or on the Mongols. So if I was a fan of Halu's team, I'd be really, really happy about this development, the pressure that Panopticon's applying. So let's give names to the teams. Do you guys have any suggestions? I thought these three were on a team, and these are all like pastel colors down here, but no, it's red. Okay. So this is red, blue, purple. And this is green, green, yellow, orange. So this can be team yellow, because the yellow civ is in the middle, and all of these colors have a little bit of yellow mixed in, orange and green too. So team yellow. What do you guys think should be the name of the enemy team of Midas, Alquiote, and Orangine? Yeah, I mean, so that's generally a strong position for higher tier players. Like if the ideal situation for you as a higher tier player is that your lower tier allies will find themselves in a very good turtling position, and you can just build as much as you want and scale up to something crazy in the late game. But the risk when a lower tier player is in that position is that they're just not going to do anything, because they're not really as sure how to convert all that time alone into like a late game advantage. Team Periphery. Okay, yeah. So Team Yellow versus Team Periphery. Yeah, because this is like a very central kind of team, and this one's like kind of at the margins. I see what you mean. So one way that you'll know that Team Yellow is winning this game is if they actually like achieve a road straight from Halu to Meat. Like if they can unite their borders, then they're in a very, very strong position. I mean, one thing that'd be really strong about that was that it would give Meat access to iron, because Meat doesn't have iron right now. But Halu has the spare source of iron that he could actually provide to Meat if they can road together. So the sea tiles will probably be blocked. Oh, we'll see if they're at war, actually. So Arabs and the Iroquois. Yeah, they're at war. So even if he was to build a harbor in Damascus, and the Ottomans built a harbor in Iznik, oh yeah, just based on the borders right now, they would not be able to trade because they'd have to trade the coast route connecting the two civs would have to go through the Iroquois land, and the Iroquois automatically won't let them because they're at war. So yeah, the Arabs and the Iroquois could not trade. At the moment right now, they could actually trade with the Vikings. And I think we were touching on one way that the changes I made to the map might affect the game. That because we have this extra coast provided by the mountains, that makes it hard to choke off sea trade. So normally, like, if you just built a city, like, there has to be a clear, uninterrupted coastal route between the two civs. Yeah, they're really going to have to... I mean, all he has to really do is, like, assert his control over... I'd say if he got a city on that hill and maybe next to this deer, that should be way more than enough. Because Halu seems to have this part under control. Yeah, I think they're talking about something like that now. Okay, well, it's good that they're paying attention to that. Sometimes it's very clear from the observer's perspective, but from, like, the fog of war, it can be kind of hard to know. Sorry, let me know if there's any issues with the quality of the stream. So there's a hill right here. I mean, he's not going to do that based on the fact he didn't plant the second city on this hill. It looks like he's not prioritizing the hills against El Quixote, which is not really a good call. But yeah, realistically, then it would just be like a city right here. And Orangine doesn't really seem to be liable to be expanding too much towards the south. I think he's scared of opening up another front. I don't think that's right, though. Yeah, okay, I actually understand now. He's scared of expanding into Halu because he doesn't want Halu's pressure on him. But for that reason, Halu is going to be able to expand towards meat, and that will allow them to trade iron. And iron is especially important for meat because that's the way he gets his golden age. So his golden age comes from the Ansar warrior, and if he doesn't get the Ansar warrior, there's no golden age. So a civ like the Vikings obviously would have access to a golden age without iron, but that's not the case for the Arabs. So it looks like they hit the medieval era. El Quixote will block them. I mean, he'd have to either go through here or through here. I mean, one thing he could do is just put a city right here. Like, if he had done that, then that would just guarantee, I mean, pretty much guarantee the iron for himself. And it would also cut off the potential trade route with the Arabs. So I think that's he dropped the ball a bit on that. I'm not sure if he's even explored in that direction and he knows about the iron there. But what I'd definitely do is ignore meat for now and start roading towards Halu. At least if I knew that Midas was applying pressure to Halu. So if it was just like a 1v1 situation, then I might feel a little bit intimidated because Halu does have a very good early game civ. The Mongols, they're militaristic, and expansionist helps sometimes. And he also has like the spearmen set up on the iron. And he wouldn't be... Yeah, he does actually have to go over rivers. Anyway, he's a little closer to the iron too. So if it was just 1v1, I might feel a little bit intimidated here. But given he has the additional pressure coming from Midas, it's definitely him dropping the ball by not securing this iron for himself. Or at least like putting pressure on Halu so Halu can would have to divert units from the Viking front to defend his iron. He sent a settler in that direction. Where did it go? I feel like Okyonite needs to push meat off Medina. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we just get him directly taking Medina in the mid-game. But he hasn't really mobilized for war just yet. Okay, he's starting to get out some swordsmen. But now the barbarians are coming for him, so it's going to be a bad time. Yeah, he just doesn't keep a lot of units at home. Huh. So I'm going to embassy Madrid and see if he has like a bunch of... Maybe he moved a bunch of warriors into Madrid so that he could upgrade them. That's the one thing I can think. No, Madrid is just empty now. Yeah, Alquiotti is actually pathetically weak right now. In terms of his army, at least. Okay, Japanese. Yeah, Midas is wise to what's the situation. Yeah. Although the way the Spanish are designed in Civ 3, it's not really surprising. Religious and seafaring on a Pangaea map, that's just like the most wishy-washy trait combination I can imagine. I guess it was kind of worse when we had the English, which were like seafaring and commercial, but specifically because their unique unit was a lot later in the tech tree. I mean, at least the English had like an option if they wanted an early Golden Age. So what the English could do is they could just grab the Colossus or the Great Lighthouse, and either of those would trigger an instant Golden Age for them. The Spanish, they'd have to do 2 wonders if they wanted a Wonder Golden Age. So realistically, they're most likely going to have to wait for the Conquistador. The one thing, other thing, if the Spanish are completely alone, they can switch into Republic, which is viable for religious civs in QC, but not viable for non-religious civs. Spend more to claim that second source of iron. I just can't imagine why he'd need 2. Yeah, Midas has 1. Orangine has 1. Yeah, there's no reason for any civ on the map to have 2, except for trading to other civs who don't have 2. Or who don't have 1. But all of their team already has... Yeah, I mean, I think he just might be trying to... Like, he thinks he's in a relatively safe situation, and he's trying to get big for the long run. And so when I say he's weak, I mean he's weak immediately. And I think that might be bad for his team, given the state of the map. Normally, I'd say expanding like that is probably a decently good idea. And I'm often very weak at home when I am expanding. Oh yeah, I didn't notice that. He does have 2. Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree about that. So let's take a look at what's in Karakoram and what's in Copenhagen. So we have 8 regular swordsmen. Okay, that's not too great. Let's see Kazan. Okay, just two horsemen. Plus he has all these units here. If he's been doing like a fair number of trades with Midas, like if they've been weakening each other mutually, then that's actually a pretty big stack that Haldo has assembled. But I didn't really notice him doing anything like that. So we'll take a look at Copenhagen. Okay. He only has 1 spearman. He has the defensive bombard from the catapult and from 2 archers, and then he can bring 1 more 2 more archers in. He's gonna need... I guess the walls don't really do anything. He needs some spearmen up front. Oh, but he has swordsmen. Huh. Let's see this. Okay, yeah. I think he can hold up pretty well here. But if I was Haldo, I might not even attack. Okay, we're seeing some pressure coming in from the north from Blaze Fury, so that's very good that he did that. I think this might make a big difference. Because the key thing about a 4v3 is, can you mobilize all your players to join the fighting? Often in a 4v3, because the enemy civs are so I mean, there are fewer of them relatively, so you might not spawn next to any of them, and so you might not be in a position to help. But if you can leverage all of your team members, you can be in a good spot in a 4v3. So yeah, that's like the inherent problem with the 4v3 is that for the 4 player, that if you're you're a strong player and you spawn alone, then the rest of your team's going to be weak and they're just going to die. If you're a strong player and you spawn next to the enemy civ, then your weak players are going to be spawning by themselves. And then they won't really be able to do anything. So it's either your weak players are going to die or your weak players are going to be useless. So generally, if the player with 4 players or the team with 4 players can hold out and not lose anybody, they will be the winning team. But in this spot, I think that El Quixote can pretty much kill Meat at his leisure. Like whenever he chooses to do a big timing push, he can, as long as he does the push, like as long as it's a well executed push, he can kill Meat. So thanks to the defensive bombard, yes, absolutely. There's no way to get Halu off that hill. So defensive bombard, due to a bug, is very strong in multiplayer, and since he has these catapults, these archers, yeah, these units aren't going to die anytime soon. Okay, finally we have El Quixote coming up here and investigating what's going on with Halu. I mean, all El Quixote has to do is just start sending a few horsemen. He can cut this road. Yeah, just divert Halu's troops and then... I don't know, I think Midas is pretty safe right here. 1 swordsman per turn in Bergen? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got a lot of hills to mine. And so relative to the base game of Civ 3, all the units have a quarter of the cost. So swordsmen cost 30 shields in regular Civ 3, so they cost 7 in QC. And it's pretty easy to get 7 shields per turn. There's also no despotism penalty, and the despotism penalty is what makes mining hills kind of inefficient, as long as you're in despotism. But since that's not in play here, yeah, it's pretty easy to get your production up pretty high. So I really like what Hal is doing here. He's kind of doing like a diamond formation, expanding in a way that's very safe for him. He's not expanding in a way that'll put him vulnerable to the Iroquois. I guess he could go in this direction a little bit more. That would be pretty safe. Halo is really making his cities defensible, yeah. So if anyone's tuning into this stream a bit late, I know I started later than I said, or earlier than I said I would. We're doing an observer mode game of Civ 3 multiplayer. So we're God, we can see the entire map, and we're also playing Fantasy QC Ball. So we did like a fantasy draft of the different players, and we score points based on the performance of those players. So if anyone's here late right now and wants to join the Fantasy QC thing, we have like rosters assembled that we can assign to you if you want to start scoring some points. Yeah, I'd say that's true. So now would be a good time to do a point check. Since we have a bit of a lull in the action. I think players are kind of waiting until they can get knights online. They're going to have chivalry before too long, but not immediately. Okay. So just right off the bat, if you picked El Quixote and Midas, or El Quixote you get +2 points, Midas is +1. So both of those players are doing pretty alright. So, like if you picked Halo, that would be bad for you. +1 for every 5 cities built. It looks like everybody has achieved that so far, even Meat. I don't think anyone has achieved 10 yet. Oops, sorry. Yeah, I don't think everyone has 5 cities. Nobody has 10 yet. Closest seems to be Alcaete has 8. Oh, Orangine actually has 9 cities. And Panopticon's about to have 8. And Halu's at 8. Okay. So yeah, Orangine actually has the most cities here. That's unexpected, but yeah, he's doing quite well. So props to you if you picked Orangine, which I know that... Oh, Rion did not actually pick Orangine. Draco picked Orangine, and then Orangine picked himself, obviously. What other points have been claimed? I haven't seen any wonders. Obviously, there's been no winning team. Nobody had any difficulty making contact. No taking cities, no kills. Nobody has lost any cities. Nobody has dropped or disconnected. And nobody has lost their cities. Okay. So right now, the points that people have are based on cities, and they're going to be based on the tier of the players. So let's see, Rion, you picked Halu, that's +0, Panopticon, that's +0, and Blaze, that's +0. So you have 3 points right now, Rion. Draco has... So Draco picked Alcaete, that's +2, Orangine +0, and Meat, that's +1. So Rion is chilling at 6 points right now, actually. And who else do we have? We have Orangine claimed himself for +0, Midas for +1, and then Blaze for +0. So Orangine is also at 4 points. So Draco is currently in the lead. Okay, we're starting to see some fair pressure coming from Blaze Fury onto Midas right now. I'm starting to worry about the long-term prospects of Team Periphery. Because it seems that all of the players from the opposing teams are being very useful and getting involved, and yeah. We're kind of just waiting on Alcaete to deliver a kill against Meat, and I feel after that the game will really open up. On the other hand, Halu and Meat haven't really made any efforts to expand towards each other. I think so weirdly enough, Orangine has not expanded in this direction because he's scared of Halu, and then Halu has also not expanded in this direction because he's scared of Orangine, and same thing with Meat. You'll notice that Meat has clustered his cities down south. So what that means is that... Yeah, he's trying to stay away from... Sorry, he's trying to stay away from Orangine. I think he's just like accepted that, yeah, I'll have to deal with Alcaete attacking me, but if I don't expand towards Orangine, I don't have to deal with Orangine's units. Which is correct. I mean, I wouldn't be expanding past this river, certainly, except to road to Halu. He should have... One city right here would be very useful for him, I feel. Halu's been too absorbed with Midas? Absolutely. I mean, this has been a lot of pressure for Midas. But it's a bit strange because Midas hasn't actually been attacking. Holy shit, is this an attack right now? Is this happening? Recon, please. Where did the units go? I think he tried an end-of-turn attack against this tile right here, and he failed. Yeah, it looks like that's what happened. So Halu hit stack, end of turn, and yeah, okay, so that's exactly what happened. So end of turn attacks against cities. Sorry, I'll explain what an end of turn attack is. So there's a turn timer in the corner here. When the turn timer ends, the turn ends. So if you do a stack attack right before the end of turn, then the attack will automatically resolve in an instant, whereas normally it's like accelerated relative to single player Civ 3, but it does take some time, and it gives more time for the enemy to reinforce. So if you do a stack attack end of turn, the enemy doesn't have time to reinforce the tile that you're attacking. So this is a legal attack, or a legal tactic against tiles, but against cities it can produce bugged results, like a stack of 10 units could beat a stack of 15 units, so it's illegal to do it against cities. Since Midas didn't say that Halu did an illegal attack, I'll assume what that means is that he tried to attack the spices tile, and he failed. Yeah, I mean, he seems to be okay with doing that. Huh, he's size 6 in Copenhagen. So presumably the reason that Midas hasn't built walls is because Halu could just knock them down with his catapults. But he could build an aqueduct in the city and get it to size 7, and that way it would guarantee him a 50% defense bonus. Although at this point he might be so much stronger than Halu that he doesn't really care. So Blaze Fury is actually kind of scary this game. He's had time to expand uninterrupted. He's roaded towards Midas, which is a good plan. I think if Blaze Fury had actually sent these units in, that maybe Halu would have made more ground against Midas. I mean, the thing is, what are they free to do? Like, I mean, we'd see this chat if it was deliberate. I think it's conveniently working out the way that El Quixote feels comfortable expanding, because all of the pressure that Halu would have applied to him has been applying to Midas instead. So El Quixote has kind of like played that by ear, and he's started to expand pretty big. He actually hits 10 cities, so congratulations to Draco, as if you needed any more of a lead. You just got another 5 cities, that's another point. And Orangine has 10 cities, yeah, he's got 12, it seems. Oh, Panopticon also has 10. And Halu's still on 8. He's been focused militarily, so he hasn't really had much room to expand. He's barely been any bigger than Blaze Fury. So one thing I'll say here is that Team Periphery has a lot of cities, and Team Yellow does not. So yeah, that's the 8th city for Midas. Midas likes to build his cities a little bit further apart, though. So, I mean, given that both of these players have 8 cities, I'd much rather have Midas's 8 cities than Halu's 8 cities, because Midas controls a lot more land, you'll notice. Is on Orangine anyway. Yeah. I mean, I'm really confused. Like, it's hard to know where this game is going. It's hard to tell who's winning. I'd honestly think that Team Periphery is winning. You'll notice that Halu's actually disconnected his iron here, so he can build more warriors, and then he's going to spend gold upgrading those warriors to swordsmen or medieval infantry. But yeah, like, I just can't imagine Team Yellow being in a position to contest, like, when Team Periphery goes for the kill on meat. I don't think Team Yellow can do anything about that. But it's still wide open. Like, Panopticon could go for an attack against Orangine. Panopticon could send his units in and then attack Midas or El Quixote. Like, he could go through Halu's land. Like, this team has control of the center of the map, which is important tactically. Or strategically, I should say. Dead meat. I wonder if he's heard that joke before. Blaze and Halu can try to stop Midas. Yeah, I agree with that. And I think this point of pressure right here is definitely one bright spot for Team Yellow. If, like, samurais start coming here, that's going to be really bad for Midas. The downside, though, is that the marshes and the jungle really limits the mobility of the units that he sends. Like the main advantage to the samurai, okay, samurai are just good at everything, but one of their main advantages is that they can be in a lot of places at once, and that's not really the case here. Because he'd only have to guard this tile, and then if he guards this tile, then the samurais are forced to move one tile at a time. And then, let's say Midas could soften them up with trebuchets or something like that. He's got a lot of options for defense. It would certainly be a lot of pressure. Oh, I actually just remembered that like one of my finishing touches on the map was turning these tiles into grassland. That was supposed to give this player the option to expand towards this banana. Because, I mean, they spawn right here, or here, one of these two tiles. So I was expecting them more to expand north, but that wasn't the case. But what it will do is allow samurai like a bigger path of movement. Okay, so you got feudalism from both civs. They're both getting their pikemen out. Yeah, everybody's getting pikemen out, except Meat. Meat, of course, does not have iron. So this right here is absolutely a blunder. The placement of Kufa. This isn't an issue right now. I guess he gets the Iroquois could just send in a bunch of horsemen and take this out. Like, let's see what's in it. I guarantee it's only going to be like an archer, a warrior, and a spearman. Maybe 2 spearmen. Yeah, not even. So, yeah, like 4 horsemen clean this up right now. Okay, he has the sentry out, which is good. But like if the sentry was on a mountain, I'd feel a little bit more comfortable if I was him. But the sentry is on just a plains tile, which means he can't see very far for one. But more importantly, there's no defense bonus, so it's very, very trivial for the Iroquois to take out the sentry. And then the Iroquois have a lot of options as to what city to attack. Sorry, that's a lie. They have one option, but it's a very good city to attack. I guess they could go this way and cut the roads and then have the choice of Damascus or Mecca. Okay, finally you start seeing some pressure northwards from El Quixote, and I think this is really called for. They're getting harbors out, but that's pointless because the trade would have to go through Iroquois land. Yeah, or Spanish land. The Spanish, like there has to be an uninterrupted coast route until astronomy at least. So here, can't go here, sea, enemy controlled. Here, enemy controlled, sea. So the trading ships can't get through and pass any resources. I guess it might be useful him having a harbor because he could trade with meat. Also, barbarians can sometimes block trade routes even, and there seems to be a lot of barbarians here. Like, even if these were on the same team, like the Iroquois and the Ottomans and the Arabs, if the barbarians put their ship right here, then the trade route can't go through the barbarians and it can't go through the sea tiles. So that would cut them off. It wasn't a fast turn timer, it was just a regular turn timer. So, okay, great. So at this phase of the game, we can start doing, around the time where people start hooking knights, it becomes less obvious how big their armies are. So we can use spies to check out the army tab in the military advisor. So let's try to do that right now. Oh, boo. Nice. Yeah, I mean, there's so many crazy things that go on with trade routes. Barbarians, privateers, or enemy ships. Okay, we got most of them. So I'll So, for example, let's say the Spanish didn't have the city, then the trade ships could go through here if Vitoria didn't exist. But the Spanish, let's say they were to put a ship here and a ship here, then the trade ships couldn't pass, and that would block trade. The Spanish would have to be at war with both the parties of the trade route, but yeah, that's how it works. So Halle doesn't really have to worry here too much. He has a second source of iron. This isn't an issue. I mean, the big deal here is the way it would affect meat. Because if Alkioti gets a city here, meat is pretty much never going to get that trade route. That's a good question, and I think it should work like that. I don't think it does, but that would be a really cool interaction if it did. Because, yeah, it's like safe to... I mean, one thing is that if there's a ship... If meat had a ship here, then Tonawanda could not use the yields from this coast tile. So it'd be cool if that transferred into sea trade. Great. Let's start doing some military checks. Scandinavia. Yeah, this is a healthy army, I'd say. 11 archers, 7 swords, 2 pikes. That's all you're going to need to defend your frontline cities, and then he's got a bunch of auxiliary troops. Just to act as sentries, military police, all that funny stuff. Who else do we have? The Spanish. Okay, so this isn't really enough to hold off against a full frontal invasion. This is a very balanced army, lots of different unit types. It is enough to do forward pressure, though. Like, he can start streaming those units north, like he's doing right now, and still have kind of enough to hold the line against meat. Although I don't think meat would really go for an attack here. Okay, Halle's making the right play here. He's roading towards meat. This is very important for meat, and meat actually has built Basra, so that's the city we wanted him to build. This is actually a good spot, too, because if Orangine tries to attack from this angle, he takes a penalty because he would be crossing the river. Anyway, but Alkioti, he doesn't have any kill threat right now. I don't think he can kill anyone with the army he has. So let's check out the next player. The Ottomans are actually probably stronger than the Spanish are, it seems. Okay, this is good with the worker right now. So this is a good lesson for anybody who's watching who's interested in playing multiplayer. This doesn't apply to single player since the AI is super dumb. But you have to understand like the concept of pressure. So just building this road here for Panopticon creates pressure on Orangine. This, I mean, it's intuitive normally, but what you have to realize is this applies even if Panopticon has no offensive units. Like, Panopticon doesn't need to have any swordsmen or knights or anything like that. Just this road existing creates pressure on Orangine, and the reason for that is that Orangine doesn't know that Panopticon doesn't have any units. So Orangine has to play with the knowledge that at any second, if Panopticon did have a big stack, he could drop it on Oil Springs at end of turn and start hitting him. So even if Panopticon never chooses to do that, it's still a very good idea to build this road to create that pressure. Just like those games in Orangine's mind, like what happens if he is going for a super aggressive early timing push? Or not early timing push, but a super aggressive early medieval timing push. So yeah, for that reason, having this road is good for Orangine. I mean, the inverse is true. Although Uskador is on a hill, so I'd be a little bit less worried if I was Panopticon. We'll try to get another example of that. I mean, that's exactly why Halle isn't really guarding these cities, because he knows there's no roads here. He's actually withdrawn from this hill. That's interesting. so that until Midas gets knights, he couldn't really attack these cities even if he wanted to because he's not close enough. He could use horsemen, I guess, but yeah. I mean, that kind of plays into the vision aspect because Midas actually can't see what's in Kazan or Tabriz. If Midas controlled the hill here, he could see what was in Kazan. So for that reason, having control of vision is really important. Another good thing he could do is put an outpost on this mountain. Like you'll see this outpost create a ton of vision. So I think it's 4 tiles in any direction of the outpost. It's really, really strong. Oh, okay. Midas built the canal city, like you mentioned, and he's starting to ferry galleys in here. So he can actually respond with some pressure of his own against Blaze Fury. That's really good, because it means that Blaze Fury can't just leave everything at home. Or, sorry, put everything at the front. Blaze Fury has to respect the fact that Midas could start sending in units to boat him. And the other thing you'll notice that Blaze Fury has done is he actually hasn't expanded to the coast here. He's scared of berserks, maybe, or whatever the case. And so that means he can't get this cow, he can't get this sugar. Even planting on the sugar would be a pretty solid choice here, I think, for the defense bonus, but he hasn't done that yet. Oh, nice, the music started playing. We're actually in the medieval era. That's good. Great. So let's do a city check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Orangine is actually 2 cities away from another point. Panopticon's not building quite as dense as Orangine, but he's building very big. He's probably like the biggest player on the map next to El Quixote in terms of number of cities. So let's see what he's got. 5, 10, 14 cities. Yeah. Next to Blaze Fury, he's got the safest position, though, so I think that makes a lot of sense. Midas he's still on 8 cities, so Midas is kind of small this game. It seems he's really more interested in building those cities up. Although he could definitely benefit from a few more workers, I think. Like, he still hasn't mined or irrigated this wines tile. I mean, Halu is in a similar position. Although Halu started to build more cities, you'll notice. He just had the 8. So it was these ones, and then he built this other line of cities up here. So that's good. So the Keshik is very cheap in QC. I mean, it's cheaper than the Knights always, but in QC in particular, it's pretty cheap. So using slavery is viable for getting out a lot of Keshiks very fast. So the reason for that is in the base game, slaving will yield 20 shields. Slaving is hurry production by sacrificing citizens. So it's 20 shields in the base game, which is, remember, things cost 4 times less in QC. So a cavalry costs 80 shields in the base game, so it costs 20 shields in QC, which is the exact same that you'd get from slaving normally. So it was a ridiculous situation that you could get a cavalry per turn by using slavery, so we reduced the number of shields that you get. It's now 14 instead of 20. So the Keshik costs 15 shields in QC, so that's exactly the amount to... It's very easy to slave the Keshik. It's a little harder to slave the knight, and it's pretty hard to slave the cavalry. So because of that, all of that is trying to say that the Mongols have more incentive to build these little cities that can be used for hurry production. Whereas a civ like the Vikings, who'd be more interested in building their unique unit, probably would have less incentive for those little cities. Although we finally see Midas getting more cities out, so it's 5. Yeah, this is gonna be his 10th city, so that'll be some bonus points for Orangine, actually. So let's do a wonder check. That's me. That's me. So nobody's doing any wonders. Yeah, I think he's getting a few out. But yeah, I mean, especially with all this... I mean, I think there's some strategic value in having the marsh and the jungle over here, just because it slows the enemy units. But there's no real reason to have marsh and jungle on this side of the river. What I'd do is I'd kind of like put some pikemen with some longbows underneath. Here, 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 and here. And here, obviously. And that way nobody would cross the river. And if they tried to cross the river, they'd get the penalty for crossing the river, the defense bonus. Sorry, the Vikings would get that defense bonus. So that'd be a very good defensive position. And because these tiles are safe, you don't have to worry about them being pillaged. So you could just cut down the marsh and then like road and mine or irrigate. One thing you could also do is that if you did cut down the marsh, it'd be easier to build fortresses. So yeah, I'd say Midas is in a very good defensive position here. He's ironically in kind of a weak offensive position. I can't really imagine him breaking through against Halu, at least without help from El Quixote. Okay, this is interesting here. So Halu had previously cut this road because he wanted to disconnect his iron. Okay, so this is a good play by El Quixote. So he destroyed the colony by putting a city next to it. The iron isn't so much of an issue because Halu has a second source of iron. Also, he's the Mongols, so he doesn't really need iron too badly. The bigger thing is that really cuts the road between him and the Arabs. And since the Iroquois are kind of dropping the ball here by not applying any pressure on this road, it's good that El Quixote kind of took up the mantle and cut him off. It seems he's trying to readjust by going through the jungle along the northern coast here, and that's a good idea. But I mean, what that means is that if the Spanish were to expand the borders here, he could cut off road access. So let's say the Spanish rushed out a temple and a library in the city. So that would mean that these two tiles would be taken up by culture and the road could not pass between him and the Arabs. So if what Halu would want to do to fight back against that, he could build a city here. That would guarantee him these tiles of culture, and then he could finish the road. But that would be a very vulnerable city. That's the problem there. That if he builds that city, he has to protect it against El Quixote and against Orangine. So since Halu didn't seem interested in... Oh, what's going on here? Looks like he tried an attack. Elk attacking Halu, please counterattack. I mean, he has no iron. There's not really much he can counterattack with. I mean, El Quixote was pretty weak at home, so it's feasible, I guess. If he has like a bunch of horsemen or something. Let's check out... We didn't finish with the military advisor. Arabs. Mongols. They're starting to get some Keshiks out. That's good. I mean, that's pretty much all you can ask for at this point. Let's see if we can spy on the Arabs, though. Nope. Okay, we have Kyoto at least. Nice. Okay, that's the last. We have all but one. So the Iroquois have all pikemen. Okay. So it looks like what's Orangine is just trying to turtle here and grow. I suspect what his plan is to wait for knights and then slave a bunch of knights. But it's interesting that he doesn't have I mean, he's got some archers and 2 horsemen, but I figured he'd have more horsemen than that, but I guess not. Japan has... Okay, he's starting to get some samurai. This is a pretty healthy army coming out of Japan. He's still on... He's on 9 cities, so almost as many as Midas. And he seems to have like kind of overcompensated with irrigation. He's irrigated any possible tile that could be irrigated. So the only mines he has are on hills. Kind of reminds me of the conquest scenarios. If you like, the infrastructure is very strange at the start of the conquest scenarios. Let's look at the infrastructure for meat. Oh yeah, I mean, this is a situation where you're going to want a lot of irrigation. He doesn't have that, so his cities are very low population. Yeah, so I mean, that's why... Oh! Elka's in trouble, okay. So what's the city, low something? Let's see if we can get it before end of turn. Okay, there's another archer for defensive bombard, so that's a guaranteed defend. Elk is sending another... I mean, I'd put one right here if I was him. Okay, he's got some knights out, finally. El Quixote. So that means he can reinforce a lot faster. Nice job, Blaze. What is Blaze Fairy doing? I really don't know what he's being congratulated for. It might be something with diplomacy and teching. Hey, Iratis. How come you have planes and there's still archers and... So this is spectator mode. We are spectating a game of 4v3 Civ 3 multiplayer. So we have these planes so we can recon and see what's going on the map. Like, they allow us to see what the other players are doing. We're not actually participating, we just have the city right here that produces a ton of gold for us. So we can use espionage and these planes and these outposts to kind of see what's up. So Iratis, if you're just joining us here, what we're doing is like a fantasy draft, like kind of the way you do fantasy football, but with players of Civ 3. So we have like some rosters prepared. We're not going to let you pick the roster because obviously some of these players are doing better than others. But we can assign you a roster if you want to participate, if you're interested in that. Yeah, it's something else. So this is the QC mod, so things might seem a little different. The biggest difference between QC and the regular Civ 3 is that it's just very, very accelerated. Like, techs are a lot cheaper, your cities grow a lot faster, and units cost a lot less, and buildings cost a lot less too. So despite the fact that we're only 35 turns into the game, you already have these pretty big sprawling empires. This is actually a team game, so the teams are 2-4-5 against 3-6-7-8. So 2-4-5 is the Vikings, the Spanish, and the Iroquois against all the other civs. So Arabs, Mongols, Japanese, and the Ottomans. Is Hala trying to pressure Midas? I think Hala's really focused on this side, so no, he's not. Can I recheck near Copenhagen? Just to see what's in the city? Sure. It doesn't really seem he has much for a counterattack. I think that's really the... because the Vikings haven't been building up too much, they're not really in a position to get out big stacks quite quickly. And they had good land early on with these mines, but they never really expanded their infrastructure at a proper speed. Like, they never cut down the marshes, or... I think they still haven't mined this wines tile. Yeah, so their production is kind of falling behind too. So yeah, if you want to participate in the contest, I can assign you a roster of players, and if your roster of players score the most points, then you win a prize if you're interested in prizes. I don't know. For full disclosure, what the prize was last time was I just let someone pick what they want my next YouTube video to be. I don't know if you like came here through my YouTube channel or if you just stumbled upon this on Twitch, but if you're interested in the channel and you want to see some content related to Civ 3, if you win the contest, then I can make what you want. And I do like a mix of single player stuff and multiplayer stuff too. So last stream was like we did AI versus AI battles. So it was kind of a similar situation where we observed the game and watched the AIs fight against each other. It's actually SID difficulty level AIs, and yeah, that's what the last contest was. To see who can pick the winning AI Civ. So is Panopticon fighting Orin? So Orin is fully invested into pikemen. So I expect there's not going to be a lot of action on this front. Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I try to like not to spam too much on Reddit, but I am like, whenever there's posts on the Civ 3 forum like relating to the game, I try to answer questions and stuff like that. Yeah, it's nice to know like the different avenues that people are coming from, though. I think Draco mentioned that he like found some videos that he liked on my YouTube channel and he posted them on his Discord, so. Yeah, I've kind of like, I'm very, very, very slowly like making the videos and the content I produce to be more professional. At the start, it was like totally amateur. Like the only thing good I actually had was my microphone. And even that was like, I had some issues with it disconnecting randomly, but I've very slowly improved my setup. I've updated OBS so it doesn't drop as much. And one thing I did for this broadcast is I actually have a pop filter. Like I was watching my previous video and I noticed like a lot of, like when you make like a P or a B sound, it makes a sound in the mic. So I had a pop filter lying around, so I figured, hey, I might as well use that for my broadcast right now to make the content a little bit better. So one thing right now is the road is about to be finished linking Halu to Meat. And so once Meat gets his iron, that's going to be a really big turning point for Team Yellow. So the two teams are Team Yellow is these guys, and Team Periphery is the Iroquois, Spanish, and Vikings. Why doesn't Panopticon help Halu and Meat then? I mean, in what sense? He's probably like teching. He's probably... yeah, it's not very active at all. It's just /r/civ3. Yeah, there's like maybe 2 posts per week. But yeah, I'm trying to... It's kind of become a little active recently. Anyway, so sorry, what Panopticon can do is he can send units through the Mongol land and then down here to help against the Spanish or to help against the Vikings. But he needs knights before that, because if he like walks medieval infantry down, that's going to take fucking forever. So he's probably waiting for knights, and we'll see if he has any knights out. No, he doesn't. Does he have horses? I remember that he was yeah, he has no horses. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, so the Japanese have horses, and the Japanese don't actually need horses because the samurai does not require horses. So the Japanese could pass horses to the Ottomans so that the Ottomans could start stacking knights. Because having knight stacks is very, very important. Like, stacks of medieval infantry and longbowmen are viable against border civilizations, but like if you were to walk a stack of medieval infantry all the way down to Spain, that would take like what, like 8 turns or something? 8 turns is a long time in QC. Like, we're only turn 37 into the game, so that's frickin' forever. So yeah, for that reason, when you stack units, you generally want to stack 2 move units, like knights or cavalry or whatever unique units that replace those units are. Maybe that's why Panopticon is building a road. I mean, the primary purpose of that road would be to trade. But yes, that too. That's a good question. I could like investigate and see if he has horses, I guess. Just anything should do the trick. He has no horses yet. Okay. He might not have cleared the coast because you have to have like, there has to be no fog of war in terms of, sorry, there are 2 types of fog of war in Civ 3. There's this black stuff, and then there's the stuff that's not lit up. There just has to be no black stuff blocking the road, blocking the sea trading route. Oh, the bigger issue is that the Japanese don't have any harbors, so hopefully they'll get their harbor up soon. So yes, this road has actually been established, so they can start passing iron to the Arabs. That is if they have a spare source of iron. So because Al-Quixote took this iron from them, I think they only have 3 irons to share for their whole team. But the Mongols don't need iron for their unique unit, so they could pass their iron hypothetically. I mean, they wouldn't be allowed to build pikemen anymore, which might be a pain in the ass, but it's certainly an option. And it would allow the Arabs to get their golden age. Oh gosh, what were we talking about? Yeah. Oh, finally I can get this spy on the Arabs, maybe. Not today, I guess. Dig in, Orangine. Me and Meat can help. I mean, I don't really know what Orangine is worried about. Oh, he's saying dig into Orangine, maybe. Blaze, dig in, Midas. So generally in English, dig in means to fortify yourself, to entrench yourself, to turtle. Halu's Brazilian, though. He's not a native English speaker, so he might not be using it the same way that we might. He might be using it to attack. Oren is moving a stack southeast. Seems like it's mostly workers. Unless I missed something. Okay, let's see what Oren has. So around this time, you're going to see big armies start to appear out of nowhere, especially from the veteran players, because they're using hurry production to build a lot of knights very quickly. So 19 Keshiks for the Mongols. Oh, it seems like the Ottomans are stacking land units, so longbowmen and medieval infantry. Spanish, mostly medieval infantry and pikemen, although they're in a very defensive position right here, so I can't... Okay, they're getting a golden age, yeah, so Meat got his golden age, so that's going to be really important for Meat. He's got walls on these northern cities, so Orangine might have missed his window to a certain extent. He's going to need a pretty big stack to clear out Khorasan now. Hey, Wayla, you're a little bit late. Do you want to participate in the contest? Yeah, so the reason that we started a little early is just because, I hosted the game and immediately a million people joined, and so I didn't want to make the players wait just for the stream, so we started streaming early. So, Wayla, we're playing Fantasy QC, which means that we each pick a roster of civs, and we score points based on how well those civs do. So, if you want, I can assign you a roster if you want to participate. Although Wayla was actually the winner of our last contest, so... if there were a bunch of people who were already in the contest, I'd say he could sit out, but no, he should definitely participate, since there's only 3 people who have actually claimed rosters so far, so... And his suggestion, like his prize was getting to suggest my next YouTube video, and I think his suggestion was really, really good. So that should come out in the next week. I'm really looking forward to that. And if he wants to, okay, yeah. So we'll put down Wayla next to Midas, Panopticon, and Meat is your team. So Midas is over here, Panopticon over here, and Meat over here. That's actually a pretty good roster, I'd say. I think the best roster right now would be Alquiote, arguably, Blaze Fury, and Orangine. Maybe Panopticon. Yeah, it's just like a pretty balanced, like a knife's edge type of game. Can't win twice in a row. You can. Like, your suggestion was so good last time that I don't mind you doing another suggestion. Yeah, so you'll notice that the two teams are Team Periphery, so Midas, Alquiote, and Orangine, against Team Yellow, which is these civs. So these 4 civs. So you'll notice that Meat spawned kind of isolated here, surrounded by enemies. But the enemy civs haven't really been able to capitalize that and kill him. So he actually spawned with no iron too, but Hallow has been able to build a road between himself and Meat and secure iron for Meat. Oh, they actually cut off the outpost here. Let's do an outpost check. Oh, this outpost's gone. This one's still alive. This one too. Oh, and this one here, it's nice. And of course, there's like a bunch in here. He's scared of conquistadors, I think. What are they trying to do? Okay. Let's do a wonder check. Huh, the Arabs are... That doesn't seem right. Think they know Astro, of course. Astronomy in 3. Okay. So they are taking astronomy. So it's hard to tell where the action... I mean, I guess we should be paying attention to chat. If anyone's been paying attention to what they're saying in game, that would help us figure out where the attack might be. We're not seeing a lot of Samurai coming out from Blaze Fury. I think he's more focused on teching. He was doing astronomy, he said. So he's being valuable to his team in that sense. Panopticon's going against Orin soon. I mean, I can't see that being very successful. 20 longbowmen, 20 medis. If Hallow could, like, drop his stack over here next to Cataragus. Oh, but he's... Orangine seems more focused on the southern front. But if you guys remember, Orangine's military was almost entirely pikemen until he unlocked chivalry and started stacking knights. So both pikemen and knights are extremely, extremely defensive, effective defensive units. Pikemen because they're very cheap and they have 3 defense, and knights, they also have 3 defense. They're more expensive, but they have a lot of movement, which means they can be in the right place at the right time. So if he has a bunch of knights in the middle of his civilization, those knights could go to Oil Springs or Cataragas or whatever city he needs them to be in, which is very useful. They also have 2 movement, which means that attacking units can't retreat against them, although that's not going to be really relevant in this case. I don't know why... I know, the betrayal. It's... So let's see what you have here, Rion. Rion has Panopticon. We'll see how well defended these Iroquois cities are. He'd tunnel him. That's not a slang term. I can maybe try to figure out by context. Yeah, these cities aren't especially well defended. He is the roads defended, though, and he can, like, retreat from those roads into the city. Let's check out Oil Springs. The bigger danger is reinforcements, though. Okay, quite a few pikemen here. That I believe he's got 1 million knights, right? 20 knights. And all of those knights are in range of defending. He's trying to cut the furs here. Okay. It looked like Panopticon missed the window. So I guess what tunnel could mean is, oh, he's got muskets now. Yeah, he's fucked. I would just give up the plans of invasion if I were him. There's no way you're going to meet muskets with the defense, the 50% defense bonus from a city and walls. Yeah, it's not going to happen. The one thing going for him is these cities aren't on hills. Yeah, hopefully he's figuring this out now, that this probably isn't a viable attack. What I'd do if I was Panopticon was just stack 1 million longbowmen or 1 million medieval infantry and just wait. What I'd do is I'd wait until Orangine commits his knights to somewhere else. Like if Orangine starts attacking Halu, then his knights won't be in range to reinforce, and then he can just take out Oil Springs. But until then, I don't think this attack will succeed. So I'm going to go to the bathroom right now. I'll leave it hooked right here so that if anything happens on this front, we'll know. Ooh, Halu's also... I think he's trying to also get involved on the action. Yeah, let's check out Ulaanbaatar. Oh yeah, here's the mother lode. Looks like most of his Keshiks. The Mongols, yeah. I don't think that was 27 Keshiks. I think he's got a lot down here on the Spanish front. No, it's mostly land units here. What about the Scandinavian front? Yeah. We haven't really checked in on Midas recently. I wonder what he's up to. Anyway, I'll be right back. Let me know what happens. Oh shit. What'd I miss? Oh. Midas attacking Hallelu in 3 to 4 turns, he says. Huh. Okay, Midas has changed his plans. He's ready to go now. So this is probably the right call from Panopticon. He's decided, yeah, this is what he means by tunneling. He's not going straight for the cities. He's doing it slow. He's going to cut off the roads. And once he cuts off the roads, then reinforcement won't be a possibility. Yeah, he's like going deeper into the territory. So I guess that's what he means by tunneling. So Centralia doesn't even have walls in it, so they'll be a vulnerable city. Yeah, if they're doing it like that, this attack might actually be viable. Oh shit. Things are about to hit the fan here. Meat could maybe even get involved if he has like some Ansar warriors, maybe. Meat's not in position though. He doesn't even have roads up north. Yeah, so let's check what Midas's stack is. So normally you want a mobile stack, so you want knights or cavalry, but if you're border to border with someone, it's okay to have just a land unit stack. Oh yeah, it looks like a versatile stack. Lots of artillery, actually, weirdly enough. Lots of warriors, too. There's a fair number of berserks and medieval infantry in there, though. Yeah, this could do quite a bit of damage. I mean, it's not all offensive units. Okay, Blaze Fury should have these units in Scandinavian land. I think it's a mistake that he's not really focusing there. He's just not creating pressure at the moment. Like, you need to be at least within range to double move onto the city, you know? Like, Stockholm is empty. He could... Like, you got defensive bombard on the archers, so this is, like, solid defense on this unit. He could just move towards Stockholm. But he hasn't done that yet. Or at least get some boats out or something, jeez. Huh, he hooked spices. And he's got samurai somewhere. Elk, please send sling also. Okay. Well, Elk is bad at communication. So we'll see if he actually does that. Okay, he's going for centrality. Oh, here's the knights. Oh, it's on now. So I'll explain the way that stack attacks work. Once you start a stack attack, you can't interact with the units on either tile until the stack attack resolves. So if Hallelu moves his Keshiks in, and then Orangine gets a stack attack off on those Keshiks, then the Keshiks are just going to get slaughtered, because Keshiks have 2 defense and Knights have 4 offense. And he can't move away, he can't counterattack, he's just stuck in the being attacked against. He didn't move his archers too. The archers would provide defensive bombard, which would kind of mitigate that. Let's see how this happens. Come on, Orangine. Okay, I guess not. He's choosing to use their defensive prowess instead, I guess. If he has walls here. Okay, he's got walls, so... he didn't move the units into the city. Oh, we're going to want to see this front, too. Okay, Howl's got some muskets out now. Let's check out what's in Centralia. Did Alkiote send anything? No, this is a big mistake from Alkiote. I think he has quite a few medieval infantry in Lagrango too, so... Okay, Centralia is down. So bad news for whoever chose Orangine to win. Is Halu on you, Orin? Yes. Yeah. I mean, he didn't get the knights. He has the stack of knights here. He should have just stack moved the knights into the city, and then he would have defended fine. He should have done that, or he should have attacked the Keshiks last turn. He had two options, but he didn't get either of those moves off. I don't know if he was distracted or whatnot, but yeah. I think maybe he thought they were going for another city, but I mean, this was the logical city. It didn't have walls at the end of last turn, so yeah. So if you're just joining us, Dr. Games a lot. We're playing Fantasy QC Ball, which is like, it's a game of multiplayer Civ 3. I am acting as the observer. I am like shoutcasting the match. And some of the viewers in chat have selected a roster of players to be their champions. And if they score the most points, then they win a prize. So that's how it works. Yeah, they score points based on the actions that the players that they have selected take. So in this case, Panopticon, the Ottomans, have taken a city from the Iroquois. This is so strange. Alquiote didn't get involved. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's a big factor. But I mean, Meat didn't get involved and Blaze Fury didn't get involved. So this is pretty much just a 2v2. Yeah, I guess it makes sense that the Mongols and Ottomans are winning that. Panopticon has had very good unit movement. He's really flooding the roads and cutting off. I'm wondering if he can hold this, though. I think he could just attack the city and he'd take it. Oh, it looks like maybe he attacked the Keshiks. I think he attacked the Keshiks while the stack was attacking Centralia. So that's why the Keshiks got slaughtered so hard, but that's why Centralia fell, because he couldn't reinforce these units into Centralia while he was stack attacking the Keshiks. It's not Dr. DRC Games. Dr. C Games a lot. Anyway, since we're playing the fantasy roster, we can like deal you in with a roster if you want to participate in the contest. You don't have to do much, just pay, or not even pay attention. Just we'll tell you how much points you get at the end, and that'll determine whether you win or not. Okay, no problem. We only have 4 people participating right now, so it's very good odds to win for those people. So, yeah, this is the QC mod, in case you're not familiar with that. It's just like an accelerated version of Civ 3, and it's played with 2-city elimination. So that means if that, if Orangine over here, the Iroquois, if they lose one more city, then they die. Oh, a Meat is getting involved in the action. Oh, that could be... If Meat sneaks a city or an attack onto St. Regis... Oh, yeah, he's fucked. Yeah, he's just straight up... He can't do shit about that. Yeah, the Vikings didn't attack. Meat and this army. When this comes out, yeah, he's dead. It'd be a miracle if he could survive this. So let's see. He went over the river and then, yep, done. So props to whoever picked Meat in the in the fantasy draft. Oh, Windsorman. Oh yeah, you've played with us before, so you know what QC is. Great. So Meat spawned like next to 2 enemies, so we thought he'd be really, really fucked here, but Yeah, I mean, Alquiote didn't do anything. Legrano? Let's check out Legrano. He's got a big army, he just didn't attack. Like, look at Tabriz. Tabriz is being guarded by a single medieval infantry. Yeah, they're correct. They are going to suicide push. I mean, they have to at this point. They have to just dump their stacks onto Tabriz. I'm playing a Future with Yama. Ooh, Future's a hard mode to learn, so good luck with that. He's a very talented player at Future. I didn't play with people because I suck versus the AI. It's okay. I mean, if you can win on, if you're used to playing on Regent, I think you can do decent in multiplayer. I mean, to a certain extent, multiplayer is just a world of its own, and so the best way to get better for multiplayer is to play multiplayer. On the other hand, if like you don't understand like a lot of the game mechanics, then single player is a good way to explore that. If you do understand the game mechanics and you can win pretty comfortably on like Monarch or something like that, then it's probably best to just go straight into multiplayer. But I mean, if that's something that's interests you, it's a bit of a time commitment. It's like 3-hour time commitment, so not bad, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a shame because it looked like Orangine was just about to get his Golden Age too. So it looks like the fact that, yeah, I'd say Alquiote was really the one who dropped the ball here. This was a very good plant. It came a little bit too late, and he needed to disconnect this road. Like, as soon as Meek got iron, that was a big mistake, and it led to his eventual death, so. I want to tell Alquiote just like, attack the city. Attack Halu. You might be able to win. I can't tell him that. It's that'd be interference. Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah. Oh no, meat? What? That's not going to fix anything. Go attack Halu. All your units are next to Halu. Let's see how big his army is. He only has 7 conquistadors. Okay. This is the part where Spain suddenly becomes a powerhouse because they have access to the conquistador now. They can get a golden age. Let's see what he does with them. Oh, Orangine's here. I mean, if they can kill Halu, then Meat will be a bit of a sitting duck. So then it'll be 2v2, and I think that in that case, that team... We assign these two players and you the name Team Periphery. So I think Team Periphery, if they can kill Halu, would be in a very good position. I mean, they'd have to kill Halu and then Meat. So that's 2 big ifs. So Orangine, let's see. Your bets aren't doing too well because you bet on yourself and you just died. So, sorry about that. The other 2 players you picked were Blaze Fury and Midas. Not doing too great at the moment. And Draco is doing pretty well. Draco picked... Oh no, Draco picked you. Who picked Panopticon? Rion picked Panopticon, okay. But Meat was the one who actually got the kill. Draco picked Meat, but not Panopticon. Wayla has both Meat and Panopticon. And Midas. Midas is a good choice too. I don't know. Yeah, but I think based on this, it might be Wayla that's winning this right now. We'll see if he might award the prize to somebody else, to the runner-up. Yeah. Now they did not come. I mean, they have enough room. Like, the big choke is right here, but Spain controls that. Oh, I see. He's got a boat over here. Okay. But, I mean, the Ottomans are massive, and they're going to have the late Golden Age. So Mongols, their Golden Age is over, but the Ottomans are just going to be a massive, massive powerhouse in the late game. They have all the resources they need. They have the dyes from Centralia, so lots of luxuries. Killing meat's not going to be enough. Yeah, they can just grow uninterrupted. Yeah, that's really bad timing for you. Like, just when you got your mounted warriors out, you got taken out. So it's kind of shit that your team didn't help you as much. But the one thing was, like, you had your stack of knights here. Did your stack of knights attack the stack of Keshiks? Is that what happened? It seemed like you had enough units to hold on, but you couldn't reinforce, like, the right place at the right time, you know? Yeah. What I would have done is I would have attacked the stack of Keshiks at end of turn, and then at the start of next turn, put the units in Centralia. Obviously, I am in observer mode. I'm in god mode. I don't have a million other things to worry about. So it's pretty easy for me to, like, talk big game about what I do in that situation. When you're under pressure, it's very different. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Like, it makes sense that you died to the Ansars. And I think Meat did really well sending them in, but I think you could have held off the initial attack, maybe. Although it was very well executed from Panopticon. Panopticon was, like, moving through your land and disconnecting your roads and things like that. And I imagine you had, like, a lot of units in these two cities that you couldn't really get to the right place at the right time. So he moved his boat back. Yeah. Okay, let's start doing a city count. So it's based on number of cities built and not total number of cities. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I'll start scoring up the points for each civilization. So yeah, we got a... So his Blaze is +1 for... Oh no, he's +0 for handicap. So +0. +2 cities. And I don't think he has done anything else other than cities. So that's it. Meat. He's still only +1 on cities. He's +1 on handicap. And he got a kill. Are they attacking? I'm not going to be playing any Civ 3. I might cast another game after this. Since this one was kind of quick. Could reinforce Ansars in theory. Yeah. Like, I mean, by that, there's, like, cast as in, like, what I'm doing right now, basically. Like, just observing the game. And talking about what's happening. Probably similar players to who's playing right now. Oh, really? Oh, of course, did DRC Games lot is your Windsor man, right? You said? Yeah, it'd definitely be good to have you in the game. There should be room. Yeah. Because normally a couple players will decide they've had enough for the day, and then a couple will stay on for the new game. So, meat is... Let's see what the rules were for points based on kills. So... +2 for taking a city, +1 for a kill. So he gets +2, +1. So, yeah. And then there are no wonders this game, no contact. Winning team we'll have to see. And nobody got their city raised. Yeah, no problem. Oh, now he's showing his boats, so of course he's starting to defend. Like, Damascus only had a warrior in it before, and now it's actually well defended. Like, I just don't know what the fuck they're doing. It gives me times to tally up points, though, so that's good. So meat, let's do Pan now. Pan probably has 20 cities at least. So 5, 10... Oh, he only has 14, actually. Huh. So 14 plus Centralia, but that wasn't a city he built, so that doesn't count. So we'll save Pan for later. Let's see, Halu. 5, 10, 12. So... Zero. Just 2 points for Halu. Oh, is that them? Ooh, that's scary. Okay, so Halu's just +2. Oren, okay, I don't know how many cities you had when you died. We can kind of count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It doesn't look like you had 15, so we'll just say +2 for Oren. No handicap. And... -1 for losing, -2. So Oren's at 0. Yeah, absolutely. Like, Hal is starting to feel confident now. He actually started defending the land, too. Alec has units. Like, look at this. He's got 14 conquistadors, 17 medieval infantry, 14 longbowmens. Oh, yeah, and he's blocking the land, so conquistadors couldn't get through if they wanted to. I think I saw the conquistadors there, though. Yeah, here they are. Yeah, he took the city pretty easily. So I guess +1 for Alquiote. And -1 for meat. Oops, sorry. Yeah, here it is. My bad. Oh, he went for Mecca. Across the river he went for Mecca. That's not a good idea. Okay, who could we tally up? We did Pan, Blaze, Oren. Did Pan plant another city? 5, 10, no, still only 14. So we'll say Pan +2, +1. And then we'll do El Quixote next. So he's +2. How many cities did he build? I think he might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. So +3 on cities. El Quixote might have been a good pick, and then +1 for the kill. What is the best in-game situation to build great wonders? Oh god. So just always build Statue of Zeus if you have the option to. Even in peaceful games, like if you're in a peaceful... I guess if you're doing like a game where you spawn... No, in any situation, you're going to want the Statue of Zeus. If you plan on going to war, if you plan on not going to war. Just the quality of the units is so good, and you get really good value for the shields you invest into it. Another really good situation for building a wonder is if you're doing a timing push using the Great Library. So what you do is you build the Great Library, you turn off your tech, and you save all your gold. And what you do with your gold is you use your gold for upgrades. So for example, you might build a bunch of veteran warriors, and then you upgrade them to swordsmen. That is a really, really good play to be building to make use of the Great Library. And I use that a lot in like Sid level games and in deity level games. And Sid, it's pretty hard to build a Great Library. It's doable though. What else could you do? Good wonder plays. Just the pyramids if you plan on building a lot of cities. If you're playing on like a very big map, the pyramids is extremely good value for your money. Same thing. Oh wow, Meat retook the city from El Quixote. So +1 for Meat and take. Yeah, I don't know why they don't just concede. Stack from Blaze Fury is starting to get kind of intimidating. Oh shit. He can't really double move in because there's like jungle blocking, but that's going to be a huge point of pressure. So they're both down one, we say. So it's 2 city elimination, so if either of these 2 civs lose 1 more city, they die. Temple of Artemis is very situational. I agree. I never really use it in my games, but on lower difficulty levels it can be pretty good. And again, if you have a lot of units. So who are we missing? We got these 6. Oh, Midas. We didn't score Midas. This is an easy one. So we just built 10 cities, I think. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, okay. So Midas is just +1 for the handicap, then +2. Yeah, it's a very expensive wonder, and it goes obsolete very quickly. Oh, Meat's about to die. Yeah, this is gonna be a big one. I played bad. Yeah, he's alive. That's what matters, you know. But Hal is right that I think he like wasted a lot of units early on. With feudal attacks against Midas. But he proved to be more useful than Midas in the mid game, because he was able to help take out Panopticon, or sorry, take out Orangine. Okay, I think we scored up all the points successfully. Unless there's any wonder. He's still doing the Great Wall in Medina. See if we can investigate Medina before he dies. Oh no, he wasn't. That was not deliberate. Okay, so Meat's dead. So we got +1 for Elk. Yeah, definitely a Pyrrhic victory. And then I think, what do we have for dying? So nothing for dying, just for losing the city. That makes sense. Yeah, it's empty city bug, but he's dead. He has died. Yeah, I mean, Great Wall is just so ridiculous because walls are just such a cheap improvement. It's not like it's a significant investment in any city. You can have walls if you want to have walls. There's nothing stopping you, and there's no reason to build the Wonder universally. The one time I'll say that it's quite good is that when you just conquer a new city, you instantly get walls up, which is helpful. Let's check out Copenhagen. Okay, so he's got more units in Copenhagen, so he could... Yeah, there's the kill. And, like, I think it's a size 1, so that would technically be -2. But that kind of violates the spirit of that rule. Because the point of the size 1... Yeah, I'll follow the rules, I guess, so that's -2 for meat. So it actually might be better to have Blaze Fury at this point, although Meat was on the winning, presumably the winning team, you know? Yeah, it's just -1, and it's the only way you can lose points. Legrano falling soon? Okay, yeah. Yeah, that is definitely Blaze mate. You don't say. He's not even trying to hide the stack. He's just like, good luck defending against this. And I think there's a lot of Keshiks from Halu, although Halu's been more focused on defensive units. And one of the downsides to Keshiks is they're pretty much only an offensive unit. They're not very good on defense. So with Knights, you can stack Knights with the idea being that they can serve as defensive units in a pinch, and they're quite effective at it. With Keshiks, though, they're not very effective at defense. Like, you can use them on defense, but it's not a very favorable trade. They're not very efficient. Why do you like Quick-Civ and not have a multi-day civilization game? Nobody has more than 3 hours to play. QC fits the most game into 3 hours. And so that's why it's so popular. Like, you'll see this, like, we started in the Ancient Era, everybody only had one city. They started with a settler and a worker, and now they have massive empires, massive armies, and they're in the medieval era. And it can even feasibly go into the industrial era sometimes. So because of that, QC, it seems like the most complete game experience in the shortest amount of time. Two-city elimination is popular because, like, imagine if you were Orangine and you had to, like, watch them, like, dissect your civilization very slowly. That would be really painful to sit through, and you would have to sit through it because you're on a team, and so it's your job to die as slowly as possible and in a way that is most inconvenient for your enemies. So nobody really wants to experience that, so it's better just to, like, play with city elimination. Yeah, I'd say it happens about 5-10% of the time, not more than that. Blaze Fury, he says he's hitting next turn. Yeah, he is. Let's see what's in Harad. Harade. Yeah, that's... he mostly only has Berserks, so I think he can't even hold off. Unless he, like, rushes some Knights in, but yeah, he doesn't have many more units to reinforce. I think Blaze might have actually been the better choice to meet, because Meat died and lost a lot of units. Because a 3v1 couldn't waste all my units for trade. Okay, here it is. Nice. He got the attack off. They're going to knock the walls down first, which I think is smart. Yeah, okay, that doesn't stand a chance then. And he can cut the reinforcements here. Civilization meme in my head for time to time. Which meme is that? That people don't play their games out to the industrial era. Yeah, you look at those. LKOT's units are all in the wrong spot. He just can't get there to defend in time. And so this massive Ottoman stack is going to take a city. So we'll say -1 for El Quixote. I think it's pretty safe. And then +1 for Panopticon. So at the end of all that, it would be, assuming Midas concedes, which he has lost a city. Midas is down 1. So +1 for Blaze, and then -1 for Midas. And so Midas will concede. So we'll do +1 Blaze, +1 Meat, +1 Pan. There's no penalty for being on the losing team, so just +1 Halu. So I think it's safe to say that these are the totals, unless Panopticon has planted another city. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, he has not. Huh, he's holding on longer than I thought he'd hold on, but anyway. So yeah, that's the way things are. -2.